The college basketball experience Final Four preview, why each team can win it all on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, presented by WynnBET. WynnBET's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Bet $100, get $100 at WynnBET.com or download the WynnBET app and start winning today. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by Sports Gambling Podcast Final Four Watch Party this Saturday. Come sweat out your bets and win prizes with myself, Stacking the Money Green, and Ryan Real Money Kramer as we are sitting there live through all the Final Four action. Just go to youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. That's youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. Plus, make sure to fill out our listener survey for a chance to win a $100 SGPN gift card. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survey.
Hey, this is Eric Metcalf. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. Final Four preview, NIT Championship preview episode, and why we think each team can win the national championship out of the remaining Final Four teams. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, well, my name is Colby Swing and Dan Today's Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
I want this pilot. It's a matter of national security.
I think tide turning, as I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of it's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
Oh, look, I moved some stuff on the soundboard.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everything's not scattered. I'm having a hard time. I'm in the trenches.
DJ Dundee.
Yes. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin, host of the NFL Gambling Podcast, host of the Ryan and Rush Show. Give it up for Ryan McIntyre. What's up, Mac?
Hey, how about that Conference USA parlay hit? And let's go Mean Green and the Blazers in the finals.
Gotta love that, although I also had a solo bet of UAB -3, which got cooked on some bullshit. But look, we are joined by, wanted to get this guy on the show. He's got an absolutely awesome podcast that everyone should stop right now and subscribe to, which is the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. He also hosts the XFL Gambling Podcast with me, but this guy just went 10-0 on college basketball picks. Look, I know I had a moment where I was 16-0 earlier this before I lost some games. This guy went 10-0, and that was it. That was all the games he played. Batting 1,000 over here. Oh, man, I give it up for, they call him the man in the box. And look, I'll give him his introduction.
Trying to get our two boys.
Well that was not what I was trying to do. I told you, I'm all over the place here. But, he's this.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
I give you CJ Sullivan.
Thank you, DJ Dundee on the wheels of steel, the iPads. Yeah, I threw out also besides a 10-0 over 100% ROI. You might want to throw that out there with some money lines on there, not to steal from the Moneyline Mac. Yeah, I just did that just because I knew I was going to be on your show this week. I'm like, well, I might as well dabble into college basketball, see what I can do there. And that was the old blind squirrel fixing a broken clock segment I like to do. And yeah, why not? If I'm going to pick them, I might as well sweep the board and go 10-0. You know,
unbelievable performance. And look, bottom line, look, the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, I highly recommend. Look, I think CJ, I know we're going to talk games here in a second, but I think you're fucking hilarious. All right. And I also think you can pick games and you know sports. All right. And that is why all of us here, look, we got a great chat, great fans.
Love the chat.
Very thankful for them. But you guys right now, take 5 seconds, subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs podcast and the XFL Gambling podcast. If you want to win some money, I'm a bit of a sharp on the Extreme Football League. But CJ, walk me through to the lay fan out there, to whoever's listening, to Alfred44 in the chat, who's a great guy. But I'm
Love
just saying,
Alfred44. Yeah.
What would explain the Bottom Line Bombs podcast to him?
The Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Well, it's me, the man in the box. I'm just a solo guy out there. I'll be bringing some guests in, of course, all season long. I do picks with bits. I do like the storylines and what the gambling aspect is to it. And like kind of I look for the narrative, in my picks a lot. Like Alabama was a fade for me. Obviously, I got deep into that story. Of course, everyone makes fun of the wrong place, wrong time, But I argue that they were in the right place at the right time. They were in the state of Alabama where it's legal to assist in a murder. The only one out of 50. Now, the victim, Janae Harris, she was in the wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
She was in front of the Alabama basketball team. Wrong place, wrong time for sure.
Actually, you're right. If you look at it, like if there's any place to have an unregistered weapon,
right,
loaded, driving around,
perfect place,
be in Alabama.
Perfect time, right? Alabama, Tuscaloosa. That situation. Then I detonate some bombs, make some picks, but and I still wherever my mind insanely goes off to, because when when you're by yourself, the brain just goes and I'm a cross between, I'd say, Jim Rome and Alex Jones, kind of, where I'm just lose my mind. I don't know what's going on, a lot of whispering. So that's basically what it is. So come on in.
Jim Jones and Jim Rome. Wait, no,
Alex Jones and Jim Rome.
Yeah, I said Jim Jones.
And just like Alex Jones, I owe a lot of money to people that I'll never pay.
Folks, I see the chat. Judge Dredd says he's subscribed. Alfred says he's got to go subscribe. Now, there we go. That's what we're talking about. We're all one big family here. We're one big family. And, you got to check it out. I mean, and CJ's touring stand-up comic, I highly recommend you check out his comedy, so.
I was just in Pittsburgh, and I almost got Mac a Pitt hat. It was on sale after the Xavier embarrassment. So I could have got a pretty cheap for Christmas gifts. And he said it would make good toilet paper. I almost brought back a bunch.
I needed some toilet paper. You would have saved me a trip to Walmart. Eat shit, Pitt.
So we hop into this. The NIT. Let's just start there because the Conference USA I know Mac was lobbying throughout the year that we should put the whole Big 12 conference in the tournament, which maybe we should have put a lot of them, but I don't know. I think the Conference USA, we should have put the whole even the Roadrunners, meet UTSA. I mean, I'm trying to do the math right here. I think it was 14-1, and this is all without me looking at the internets, even though I have it right here, but I'm lazy. I believe with Florida Atlantic winning that last game, it went to 15-1, and then North Texas won today, which would be 16-1, right? And then UAB just won. So am I crazy? It's either 16 or 17-1. Yeah. Holy shit! And their one loss was Rice to Southern Utah by 2 points. 2 points. I mean, what's going on? And damn, if this conference isn't getting broken up next year, all the teams are going to the AAC. Some are going everywhere. I don't know which ways, but holy shit! What a run by the Conference USA. What do you make of it, Mac?
I think we were ahead of the curve, though, on the Conference USA. We kind of said this is an underrated league, that we said them in the Mountain West. Those were our two favorite mid-major leagues in terms of it reminded us of the Big 12 at the mid-major level. they didn't really, other than UTSA, they weren't very good, obviously. But, I mean, you had quality teams. You got UTEP, Louisiana Tech, FIU, Rice, and then Western Kentucky is arguably the most talented team.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they've been dominant. They've only lost one game. So, and obviously have somebody in the Final Four. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing all these teams in the American next year.
Yeah, so Charlotte won the CBI. And now we have the NIT, which is a championship, on Thursday in Vegas. We don't have a line on it yet, but it is North Texas taking on UAB, which were great games. With
round 4.
Yeah, round 4. And then we have Florida Atlantic, who's alive and well in the Final Four. CJ, what do you make of what do you think of America there?
It's insane that they were only a one bid conference, that the big tournament. And UAB was just favored over Florida Atlantic like 3 weeks ago in the championship game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, these are great teams. They're top. I mean, I think UAB is a top 15 team at least, in the country. And it's a joke that they maybe it's because the turnover, they don't realize who's in the USA anymore. They don't know. They still think St. Louis is it. Maybe they think the Bilkins are still in there or something. I don't know.
Still in there.
Yeah, right.
But man, I mean, and what's hilarious, I guess, if you're a Cal Golden Bear fan, it seems like Mark Madsen's their guy who was the Utah Valley coach. They finally lose. But if you're a Texas Tech fan, now you're waiting another couple of days. Grant McCaskill's supposed to be the next guy, and he's probably going to take some of his players with him. That's the current thing you're seeing in college hoops. When you go higher and you pry a coach away from another school, normally like 3 or 4 transfers coming with them. Pretty crazy. Let me ask you this: what do you lean for the championship game? I kind of lean North Texas at the way that they got their ass whooped early in that UAB game in the championship, where they ended up battling back. Credit to them. But I kind of think they have the moment. They have everything. Is like, man, they whooped our ass early. We can't let them do that. And it's Grant McCaskill's final game. I kind of think North Texas, even though I feel like UAB is probably the better team when everyone's healthy, but I think from a motivational standpoint, I feel like North Texas might have the edge. Mac, who do you lean with there?
I would probably be on the same side as you, and just because defense this time of year, and this is an ultimate scouting report game, like, everything about this opponent's round 4. They won both regular season games, North Texas, and it's crazy too. UAB, they probably would have had an at-large resume if just Jelly Walker had not missed all that time. So, unfortunately, I remember one of the episodes where, like, what team could go on a run to the Final Four? Long shot mid-major wise, and we both gave out UAB. We didn't know FAU was going to be the team out of Conference USA because we just seen Jelly Walker come back and they beat FAU. So, Conference USA has been fire this year, man.
Yeah, and North Texas was like in first place, I think, that very moment, if memory serves me correct. Yeah. CJ, who do you lean in this CUSA, this battle for America in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I lean, as I see in the comments, mean. I like North Texas. I pictured almost like an 85 Nova Georgetown where they played each other 4 times. They weren't afraid of them. They kind of they just know how to do it. That was like the best opponent they could have. So when you hear them talking, like even afterwards when they beat Wisconsin today with a great comeback, afterwards, and they're asked about the Conference USA, and they're like, yeah, we know Florida Atlantic, we know all these teams. Like, they're just assuming UAB was going to win the next game. Like, we can't wait to play them again because we know who we all are,
Yeah, fantastic. It makes for a great Thursday.
What do you think that line would be?
I think it's going to be something short. I think you're looking at 2.
It might be like a pick.
Really?
Yeah.
I switched my play to UAB. I thought I was getting 5.5.
I think it's going to be like UAB minus like 2.5.
Wow. I thought it'd be 4.
Chat, you guys are on check-in to see if this line goes live, because we're occupied right now, as you can tell. I'm putting in hard work over here, talking USA basketball. Okay, so we got that on Thursday. So at least, we have something to look forward to sports-wise, But I think we should dive into this Final Four.
Let's do it. The other Conference USA team.
So we got Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, the first one to tip. Well, actually, hold on. Before I get into all that, I want to tell you that the college basketball experience is brought to you by WynnBET. Yes, WynnBET is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WynnBET's now active in Massachusetts and a ton of other states. Be on the lookout for WynnBET's Win Hour each Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. During WynnBET's Win Hour, marquee games of the week will have better odds on WynnBET essentially giving you a larger payout opportunity. And March Madness is here. There's so many ways to bet on the big dance. You can still bet futures. It's Final Four. We're going to go through those futures. Sign up today, receive a special offer. Bet $100, get $100, limited to state availability. And, of course, for our DGens only, if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you get $1,000 free credit. So much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to winbet.com or download the WinBet app. Offer subject to change, terms and conditions. WinBet.com must be 21 over present state where WinBet is available. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're also brought to you by the SGP Masters. Yeah, looking to hang out with Stacking the Money Green and Ryan Real Money Kramer at Stadium, swim and watch the biggest golf tournament in the world. Well, you can win a 3-night stay at Circa Las Vegas to hang out with the guys. The contest is completely free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/golf party. And if you don't win the contest, you can still get a discount on the room. Use that promo code SGP15. Thank us later. Folks, we're also brought to you by SGP Final Four Watch Party. The Final Four Watch Party is going virtual. Yes, hang out with all of us. Me, Stacking the Money Green, Real Money Kramer. Might even have some other guests there this Saturday for all of the Final Four. Yes, both games. We will be live, giving away talking live bets, giving away prizes, much, much more. A lot of good stuff. Subscribe, youtube.com/the Sports Gambling Podcast, and tune in on Saturday as we can't wait. Let's go to Saturday, where Florida Atlantic, San Diego State. This game tips at 3:09 on the West, 6:09 on the East. We also have Miami and UConn at 5:49 tipping on the West, 8:49 on the East. Let me ask you this before we dive into why we think each team can win. What game are you more excited to see, CJ?
Well, both games are going to be good for different reasons, obviously. I think, two different styles. One's going to be up and down. One's just going to be an absolute fucking prison ball fight. And to be honest with you, I kind of want to watch that one. I love the way San Diego State plays defense, and it's the way it's hard. I like how none of them can actually play basketball, but they're just amazing. They just force their will and just throw it up against the glass and just beat you all to hell. And this Florida Atlantic team, I don't believe that's a real school. I think it's just a warehouse. They ship all these guys in. They got a rush. Where do you get a Russian center down in the Gulf? Like, what is going on down there?
Did you watch that documentary? Fuck me, about the Russian guy in Miami who bought a submarine. You got a fucking Russian. This is in the 80s. Fuck, I can't think of the name of this documentary right now. Fascinating. It came out in the past couple years, and it's about a drug lord or that comes from Russia to staying with his dad in Miami, and then he's like, dude, this guy wants to smuggle drugs, so he takes him to Russia and buys a fucking Russian submarine. Awesome fucking documentary. Get the name of that. Operation Odessa.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
And now that became the campus for Florida Atlantic University. I got you.
Go watch that documentary. That was a lot of fun. Fun.
I love that. I love that game though, but especially I think Florida Atlantic will hit some threes. I think it's going to be the competition level of against each other is going to be at a 15 out of a 10 on that one.
Yeah. I think that's the one I think we all want to see. Mac, what's the one that you want to see most?
First one, definitely. I think it's going to be an absolute rock fight. You got good guards, veteran guards. I think it's going to be the first one to 60 wins that thing, especially going into a dome where teams tend to not shoot the basketball as well. Yeah. I think this is going to be an old school game to start off the Final Four.
Yeah. Now, where is this? Is this the Joel Osteen Dome they're playing in down in Houston? Where is it?
Doors are open this time, CJ.
He's not turning away hurricane victims.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, that total is sitting there at 131.5.
Yeah, that seems high, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Under.
Yeah. I think we lean under too.
Especially since San Diego's going under last 12 games, is it, or something like that, consecutive?
Yeah. They don't play basketball, they play rugby.
One of my favorite comments right now in the chat is Alfred44 says San Diego State makes Mark Eaton look graceful.
Yes.
Mark Eaton, the old Utah Jazz center.
I love a Mark Eaton reference.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Right? Didn't he just recently pass?
Yeah. My favorite story though with Utah Jazz centers. I know we're getting sidetracked, but
let's go.
Olden Pilanes, who's from Haiti, I believe, if memory serves me correct. He got arrested for impersonating a cop in
Yes,
Salt
he
Lake
did.
City. Can you imagine getting pulled over by this Haitian 7'2" guy or 7'1" guy, and he's telling you because he had police lights on his car. He gets out the car, he's got a uniform on. You're like, God damn, I didn't know Salt Lake City was getting fucking cops like this these days.
And how does he think he's getting away with it in Utah? Old and Polynese. Read the room, buddy. You're in Utah. What workforce do you think you're blending in where they're like, did we hire a new 7-foot black guy? The only guy in the state that looks like this?
Salt Lake City PD landed a 5-star at a Haiti. I was like, hey, I love this. Sorry, officer. I was speeding, but God damn it, man.
That's great.
Anyway, we're getting carried away. We got Greg Ostertag references.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm influencing the show a lot because this is how my show goes. I veer off. Next, I'm talking about Bison Dele murders and shit going off.
I've been saying we should do a 30 for 30 on that for 5
Yeah,
years.
right?
I mean, you dive into that. You go. That is one of the best rabbit holes to go down to. Go, scour the internet and read about, because even the way he died was like the way after his favorite movie.
Yeah.
Chance this guy still could be alive.
There was a border involved. One of those classic.
Unbelievable story.
I love when two people leave on a boat. One comes back. And the guy at the porch like, hey, wasn't there 2 people on there? Nah, I think I just took a swim. He'll be back later. Yeah, it's not how that works.
I think it was 3. I think his wife was with him.
Yeah, of course.
I think his girl or his wife was with him.
Just me. They're out there by one of the buoys, I think.
Here she thought, I get to go out with the NBA center, go out on the boat. Everything's going to be fine. Next thing you know, the guy, I don't know. That was his brother, I think, that did that. Fascinating story. Go check that out. All right. Let's make the case right now. Florida Gulf Coast, Florida Atlantic. Why are they going to win the national championship? How could they win the national championship, Mac?
Good guards. Davis and Martin are really good. We talk about the 7'1" Russian in the middle with Golden. He played his ass off against Kansas State, dominated, really gave them fits. And honestly, he played well against Tennessee as well, against that physical front line. They got really good guards. They're also 35-3. I know that people have kind of shit on their resume a little bit, but there's something said for winning every single game, beating UAB, beating North Texas, who we clearly have found out that were NCAA tournament type teams. And Dusty May, man, cool, calm, cool, collected. They're a really good basketball team. That's why they can win it all.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I think is the depth. Like, one of the things that jumps out to me is, like, whether it's Brandon Witherspoon or what Greenlee, who had the big game, I feel like in the Elite Eight. Brian Greenlee, who fouled out, but he hit some big shots in that game. I felt like CJ. Honestly, do you believe that Florida Atlantic can win the national championship? And if so, what do you think the keys are?
Absolutely, I think they can win the national championship. They're in the Final Four, but I mean, like,
all they gotta do is win twice.
Also, every time they win, I feel like it keeps rubbing in my Memphis future ticket that I had.
Me too.
Of 90-1 or whatever. I mean, it just feels like this should be you. And it is like we just assumed they would have cakewalked to the Final Four as well if they would have got past that first game and not melt down like they did
every other time. Yeah, even the Calipari years when they went to the Natty.
Oh, they always choked.
Yeah, absolutely they do. But to reiterate what Max said, I mean, I think they haven't really hit. They didn't really shoot well versus Tennessee, yet they still hit like 8 threes or so somehow to get in there. And I think everyone knows San Diego State guards the 3 well, but I think they can just still hit them because, like I said, because their guards are that great. And how many it's like all like 30-year sophomores. I don't know how they get that. I like that new loophole, the sabermetrics of recruiting of third-year sophomores, where they're still under the bellies, they're still under class, but yet they're still 24 years old.
I think one of the things also is pace. Florida Atlantic plays at this incredibly fast pace. Now, I get it. San Diego State seems to have a very good transition defense throughout the year, but Florida Atlantic's top 40 in pace. And this is not only for this game. I think that would be their key in really, well, I don't know. If it's UConn, maybe you want to slow it down.
Right.
If it's Miami, I just feel like that could be a little racetrack over there. But yeah, I think they're capable of winning the national championship. I'm fascinated by this whole story. Do you guys think this is good for college basketball to have Florida Atlantic and San Diego State, and no one even knew Miami had a basketball team. I mean, shit, they didn't have a basketball team in 1984. I mean,
I agree. I think people who don't like this Final Four are being ridiculous, and like, especially first of all, and like, I'm not the Florida Atlantic's a Cinderella, but people want their Cinderellas to look like Hoosiers. That's why they want like Fairleigh Dickinson, those like, just like 5'11" white guys. They don't want actual basketball players like Florida Atlantic coming out there. They're their Cinderellas has racist undertones, is what I'm trying to say.
Honestly, like, I agree with CJ. Like, if you don't like this Final Four, you're not a college basketball fan. Right. Go back to the fucking NBA. Like we don't need you. This has been great for the sport. I mean, I'm the biggest Big 12 guy, and I'm saying this is the best kind of Final Four for the game of college basketball. Yeah. To have all these mid-majors in here, parity is as high as ever in this game. It's great.
And I saw Noah Beanick tweet out that that the women's Iowa game got better ratings than any NBA game this
great.
Nice.
Look, I did a laughing response to it, and people were saying, I got into a little argument on a couple of those because I put the same GIF in both comment sections, but. I don't laugh at the fact it is just women's basketball, but I know they don't market it like they do the NBA. Come on, that's hilarious. And let's be honest, it's fucking hilarious.
Well, at least the women are playing. They're not load management. Caitlin Clark's out there taping it up.
Don't let the politically correct NBA fool you. They're butthurt that a women's basketball Elite Eight game did better ratings because, like you said, they don't market that sport at all, and you got all these jackasses, load management shutting down for the whole year.
Ben Simmons again, he should be ready to play 500 fucking games.
He's the freshest son of a gun I've ever met. He's the GOAT of load management.
Shout out to Greg Kalish, man, longtime listener there, big fan. Shout out to Greg, good guy. All right, let's make the case for San Diego State. I think San Diego State, is, to me, they're one of the more hilarious teams. Like, I know CJ was just alluding to this. I like them because they're not good at basketball. Well, fuck, for like 5 minutes, CJ had me completely convinced when they would have like 16 open threes, and it was just like clung, just left and right. And then they even had missed dunks on the fast break. I was like, CJ's right. They might be, it's a bunch of football players on a basketball court playing great defense. But at the same time, there are moments where they resemble a basketball team. CJ, why do you think the Aztecs can win it all?
Well, first of all, obviously, when they play defense, nobody likes being guarded like that for 40 straight minutes. And that's what they did. They just wore Creighton down, I think, towards the end. I mean, obviously, neither team could score. And that's why, even though I had a Creighton money line ticket, I wasn't that mad about the foul because I think that game just needed to be put out of its misery. And no one could have took 5 more minutes of that shooting. But but the fact was, like, the San Diego State just wore them out. And was it Trammell who did get the Durham Trammell?
Darian Trammell, the Seattle transfer. Yeah,
he did nothing all year. He averaged like 5 a game, and now he's averaging 15. Like, he's been on the heater, and that could work for him. When you don't need as much offense, that's what it takes. But now, Matt Bradley, on the other hand, what if he does start scoring? Which, maybe he needs this the Joel Osteen dome to get his shooting right. He can't. I mean, he can only improve from 10% from 3-point line, for crying out loud. So maybe this is the trip where things start clicking for him, and if they can get to 65, they'll win this game for sure. But and other than that, they have a deep. They'll never be out of a game with that defense, no matter who they're playing, even if they're playing UConn. Like, they're gonna have a chance to win. They're gonna have a chance to lose it too, but they'll have a chance to win a game.
I want to say I read the stat that they've held every team in the NCAA tournament till 17 points below their season average on what they would score.
They haven't let someone score 65 points in the month of March of all of March, let alone it's just this tournament.
That's wild. And they defend the 3 so well, this is why this matchup is so compelling with Florida Atlantic. So Florida Atlantic's the top, they're 14th in the nation at 3-point field goal percentage. At 3-pointers, and at 55th in the nation in the percentage. But meanwhile, San Diego State, who can't hit shit, 233rd in 3-pointers per game. And even with that, 150th at shooting at 34%. Mac, why do you have the Aztec? Like, why should an Aztec fan think, this is we're the best team left in the field. We can win this all.
Because they're just like what Press Virginia was. They're the baddest dudes on the block. I mean, they don't have to make shots to win games. Mm-hmm. Matt Bradley, their leading scorer is like 6 of his last 30, and they've beaten Creighton, Alabama, and blown out Furman. I mean, anybody else in the country where your leading scorer is going to go 6 of 30 and you're going to be Bama, Creighton, and blow out Furman, not going to happen. So if he can just make a couple shots in this Final Four, and they haven't, like you said, they have an identity, man. They're the best defensive team in the country. Brian Dutcher took over for Steve Fisher there, and they seem like a team of destiny. They got screwed in 2020 when they canceled the tournament. Feels like a team of destiny here where they're really old, too. I mean, they got all juniors and seniors, good backcourt as well. So I really like the Aztecs. I actually think they do have a chance to win it all, like a realistic chance.
They're both top 25 defensively. Surprisingly, San Diego State's defensive rating 25th. Florida Atlantic's is 19th. But, is that the Mountain West difference of the Conference USA? We can't say that because the Conference USA is on absolute fucking fire. Who knows? Offensively, though, San Diego State's offensive rating 103rd compared to Florida Atlantic's at 17th. Let me ask you this. What's the better matchup? I mean, I feel like we're going to just easily say Miami, right? If they win.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, FAU Miami National Championship would be fucking hilarious to college basketball.
Yes.
You'd have so many outraged people. It'd be fucking hilarious. San Diego State, Miami, I still think you would have some people that would be like, this game sucks. But also, I feel like if you're a fan base, you got to be rooting for that matchup, right? Is there any chance that San Diego State matches up better with UConn than Miami, Mac?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, from a talent standpoint, we saw a team that was as talented as UConn, or maybe not as talented, but in Alabama, and they just completely punked them. I mean, they didn't even make shots, and they just ran them out of the gym, made Brandon Miller basically quit down the stretch there. Wrong place, wrong time for the Tide in that game. I think if you ask UConn, hey, who do you want to play? They're going to say FAU. Well, I mean, we love FAU, but the last team they want to see is San Diego State on a short rest for the national championship.
You agree with that, CJ, or do you think maybe FAU's, maybe the way they hit the three could be, a bigger threat to beat UConn if you're a UConn fan?
I think UConn would definitely, not that they couldn't lose to FAU, but I agree with Mac there. I think they could have just out-talent their talent. But if San Diego State is the wrong team, they're like you said, first of all, no one likes to play against that kind of defense. They're a team of destiny. They're the worst San Diego State team I've seen in the last 10 years. It seems like that's what I like about them. I just like how bad they are at putting the actual ball in the net. Like they're not the best San Diego State team like in the last 5 years. Oh, but those are the ones that get revenge for all the ones like the COVID one and whatever, and the ones that get knocked out early.
CJ's about to say Steve Lavin, San Diego Toreros.
I love Steve Lavin, San Diego State. Dan McGuire, my favorite quarterback.
All right, look, let's flip it over to the other side of things. But before we do that, I want to tell you the college basketball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Fantasy continues their March Madness College Pick'em. It's a great way to get on all the action, especially if your bracket's busted. We just talked about we had Memphis in the Final Four. Well, yeah, bracket's been busted for a long fucking time. So what have I been doing? I've been over there at Underdog Fantasy grinding it out. They got Underdog Fantasy also has college basketball player props, which I love. I love the fact for the Final Four you can load up and say, well, I think Matt Bradley might score more than 9 points. It's bold, probably plus 1,000. But they got that going. They got great NBA and NHL daily games. You just got to check it out. Head on over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. All right. Game 2.
All right.
Do we even have to make a case why UConn could win the national championship? Do we? I mean, I guess there's the Dan Hurley element. Is there let's build a case on why they why could they fold? Yeah, why could they lose? I mean, obviously, from a talent perspective, I think everyone you see it. I mean, you see it with the odds. Everyone's UConn hasn't played a close game since the Big East tournament.
Right.
Why could they lose, CJ? Why do you think that the Huskies could lose?
A lot of those teams sometimes, though, when they go on these kind of runs and hot runs, then you have that full week off when you get to the Final Four. It's not the same thing when they come in there and they have like either a test in this game or it's just not sitting there. Obviously with the big dome and so. And we would and that UConn team from the mid-season February is still there. I think it's still underneath all of this, And they want to say, "Oh, we only lost the Big East teams." Well, the Big East wasn't the Big 12 this year. I mean, though they did produce, some things at the end. I do think they're capable. Well, first of all, we can get into your Danny Hurley. I know you hate Danny Hurley. I do love the story of Danny Hurley. No, sitting on the
Jersey guy sticking up for a Jersey guy.
I know he's sitting on the stoop at the White Eagle Hall in St. Anthony's playing stickball, and then he took something my God, with the fucking Danny Hurley stuff. But I mean, that whole Hurley family, they're as a guy who came from Jersey, they're assholes is what they were. So good. Hard noses. Sure. We call them hard nose. You can say you can dress it up all you want. They're assholes. But so I'm not going to be shedding any tears if Danny Hurley somehow blows this game there for their stores. He's capable of blowing this though.
I mean, we've seen, and look, I'll be honest. Like, I thought Miami had no business beating Texas. I also thought they had no business winning like every game in the tournament, with the exception of the Houston game, which I was on them. So it wouldn't shock me. Larrañaga, I mean, is there a legit coaching angle, like a coaching advantage?
For sure.
You think to Larrañaga, Mac?
Absolutely.
Yes, there is a big coaching angle, and I think you saw it with Rodney Terry. I mean, we're glad he got the job, but Larrañaga more seasoned, obviously. I mean, the guy took George Mason to the Final Four as well, won at Bowling Green. I think you look at, if you want to nitpick the UConn, we all go back to when they lost 6 out of 8. They lost to Xavier, Marquette, and Creighton. Those were the primary teams. All those three teams have in common is good guards. Well, I mean, Miami has really good guards. So I think if you're going to nitpick UConn why they could lose, is they basically just get outplayed significantly at the guard position, and the Miami guards control the tempo of the game.
Well, and you have the scenario there. If you mentioned good guards, would that favor then Florida Atlantic matching up with them more than San Diego State's guards are decent too, but sometimes they can't score on a gym by themselves. You find that maybe a little merit in that?
The only problem is you can't ignore the 1-2 Twin Towers, as I like to say, in the middle with Sonogo and Klingon. And I don't know if FAU has the bodies to bang with them like San Diego State and Miami does.
UConn just has two of everything there.
I mean, those two guys they made Drew Timme look like a freaking old man rec league player the other night.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was
he's like, I'm retired.
Timme off of back-to-back. He's 37 years old. He needed a Bengay and the knee wraps and all that. You kind of saw that coming,
Yeah.
All right. Well, now let's switch it over. I mean, UConn. I'm just rattling off some of the stats here. So they're also a top 25 defense. They're 23rd in defensive rating, 7th in offensive rating. And one thing that's interesting though is they do turn the ball over quite a bit. 217th in turnovers as far, so they're not very good at taking care of the rock. Maybe Miami, or maybe obviously we talk about San Diego State, the way they play defense. If they can if they could beat Florida Atlantic and then square off against UConn, maybe they can take advantage of how reckless the Huskies have been with the ball. Offensive rebounding and just rebounding in general has been just a huge strength of UConn's. Both offensively, they're top 10, rebounding, they're top 10. And obviously the Hurricanes have not been a great rebounding team this year. So that would be a clear-cut advantage to UConn in that matchup. But let's build the case for the Hurricanes. Why do you think Jimmy Larrañaga can take home his first national championship ever?
Yeah.
Ever. As he's been coaching for 1,000 fucking years. Weekend of Bernie's 3. We've been saying this. South Beach. James Larrañaga's the star. CJ, why do you think the Hurricanes can perhaps upset UConn just like Texas, and then perhaps win the Battle of Florida against FAU, or a little?
Miami's a basketball school. It's official now.
They are.
It's they got the best team money can buy. I feel like this is like a blue chip squad, Nick Nolte style. Lagunitas got them going out there. I mean, they're saying those guards, of course, Jordan Miller and Nigel Pack, but someone put in the chat, but Wooga Pop. I love Wooga as well. I think he can be the X factor in this game. I just think they have so many guards, and as Mac was saying, that's how you kind of attack them. And guards can just win games by themselves out there. And then if they can, I don't know. You have to hope Jordan Hawkins has kind of an off game, but then they're just so good. But I think I've tried to fade Miami for the last 4 games, and they've just nothing but make me lose my bank account every single time. I can't believe it. But
it's the way they've came back in some of those games too.
That damn Drake
we
game.
were winning conference titles.
The Drake game. I know.
We were making a statement.
There's my
although the more I think about it, I think that was more Lagunitas geniuses too. He knows that if you have a sweat in that first game, then you go on a run. So he purposefully fell behind a Drake for about the first 55 minutes. He goes, all right, now let's do that 18-1 run, and then it's cover the rest of the tournament. Genius.
Yeah, I mean that is an interesting angle though. If UConn gets up early, I guess they've been blowing all these teams out. But does anyone? I don't know that any of the teams UConn have. Well, I guess you could say Gonzaga had the firepower to come back. They didn't. So
they were dead in the water though. Gonzaga, you could just tell. I mean, especially once Timmy got his 4th foul. I was like, why even take him out? I think when Van Gundy said that, he goes, keep him in there. You're going to get blown out with him on the sideline. He just doesn't care out there. I've been liking Van Gundy.
Oh, yeah, man. Mac, build me a case on why Miami's going to win the national championship.
Guards, but I think if they're going to win this UConn game, because I think if they beat UConn, they'll probably win it. I mean, I think we all agree. Like, that's the kind of win that can propel you where there's no chance you're going to lose. They're going to have to make a shitload of threes like they did against Houston because they're not going to be able to finish at the rim against those UConn bigs. I think that they got a good whistle down the stretch. I mean, they made 20 free throws against Texas, so I think I don't know if they're going to be able to get that same whistle, so they're going to have to make perimeter jump shots with Wong and Pack, who didn't make shots against Texas. So Jordan Miller has not missed, it seems like, in 2 weeks. So they're good as a team. I know. And Omir's got to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah,
they're not going to be able to play 5 guards against those guys.
Amir is the key, I think. Just like in the Texas game, I thought he was such a pivotal point.
I didn't catch your recap show, but I could imagine, especially Kobe's thoughts on that over-the-top foul that he reversed for boxing him out too long in that because I had Texas futures as well. But look, that was ridiculous, right?
Oh,
look, in real time, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I thought absolutely awful call.
What did he do wrong? He boxed out too much.
Yeah.
It's his fault for fucking jumping over him. Sorry,
but
when
they do the super slow-mo shit, you can actually build a case on anything. You can be
right.
I was just like, okay, if you're building the case on the slow-mo here.
I mean, now is he a defenseless receiver? Are they making up football rules or something? Like I've never
defenseless rebounder.
Right, defenseless rebounder. Yeah, well, maybe don't jump over my back.
What was worse, that or the Creighton call, the Creighton San Diego State call?
Honestly, they kind of were similar where from a naked eye, it was an easy call. But then when you slow it down, it kind of tricks your brain into be like, if we do this at this millimeter and this centimeter, we can do it. That's why I hate replay.
The Creighton one is ridiculous just because people defending it are like, well, the letter of the law says, who gives a shit about the law? What are you, hall monitor? How about we have an actual ending to this game that's fun?
Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a Creighton Blue Jay fan. My wife's bracket came crashing down. It was brutal. All right. Well, look, how about this before we get the fuck out of here? Because we're going to pick all these games.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Yvette in the chat who speaks for all of us when she says the Miami FAU matchup will be orgasmic.
Yes. I mean, you got to love. I just feel like the rest of the country will be pissed off at that. Oh, it's Florida Atlantic, Miami National, and I love.
That'd be amazing.
I love when people are upset. You know what I mean? It's one of my favorite things is seeing. I'm a big fan of sports misery. I've made this case on the show a million times. I was rooting for the Cubs to lose, even though I like the Cubs. You know what I mean? Like, you can go one by one on situations, and I enjoy sports misery. So this would be hilarious to watch watch the LA college basketball fans complain about it. Like the little bitches that they are. But do me a favor. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience on the way out, all right?
I agree. Crying fans is one of the best parts of sports, especially this tournament.
So great. So would that be the matchup you guys are rooting for the most?
Miami FAU.
Just curious, like.
I kind of want to see San Diego State UConn. I
want to see San Diego State UConn from a matchup standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun. I mean, Miami FAU would be awesome. It'd be a lot of fun, but yeah.
What about FAU, UConn, or Miami, San Diego State? What would be the worst one? What would be the one to say, I'm going to watch because I love basketball, but I'm just not as excited about it as the other ones? Is there one?
Probably Miami, San Diego State.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
UConn's like must-watch TV right now with how fast they are in transition with all those athletes. I mean, they're good.
I think the FAU UConn one would be the one that I don't want to see.
It could be UConn Butler again.
I agree with that. Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't want to see FAU UConn either. Although it would at least give you a clear rooting pattern. Everyone will be rooting for FAU in that one.
Yeah.
That's the only thing good sign of that.
All right. Well, look. Tomorrow, we're going to be on this very show. We're going to be picking our winners. All right. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Thursday. I keep thinking Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Thursday, we will be on the show picking winners. NIT. Do we have a line on the NIT? I feel like, can anyone find us a line on the NIT right now? I'm quickly pulling up something to see if it's out there.
I take a look.
I do not see a line on it yet.
And the games are played in Vegas. Where the hell's the line?
Yeah.
Now, why did they move it from the Garden to Vegas?
I don't know. Just money, I would assume. I don't know.
I guess Vegas is the new Times Square, basically. Because I always feel like the NIT Final Four is more like a family destination kind of a situation. Where like, oh, let's go see. Here, I got.
You got a line?
You guys are right. I got UAB 1.5. Total 126.5.
I'm going North Texas. I think it's a revenge spot. Grant McCaskill's final game, UAB, isn't dealing with that same scenario now. It could be like Jelly Walker's final game, but
yeah,
I think North Texas wants to get this one for Coach on his way out. Little NIT championship put up on the wall. Mac, where are you going?
Yeah, it's a fantastic matchup. Contrasting styles. UAB wants to play fast. North Texas wants to play slow. But I like the McCaslin. It's been a great run there. They beat Purdue in the NCAA tournament. I think they're going to send Coach off right to Lubbock with a big NIT championship. Let's go. Mean Green.
Wow, man.
CJ?
Well, honestly, I honestly thought this line was going to be at the minimum 3.5. Hoping 4.5. But now that I see that, I think I might have to buy on UAB just to win this, to finish it off. They were the best team in the conference, I thought. And Jelly Roll, come on. Final game in Vegas. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So, look, Thursday night, we will have.
But what do I know? I only went 10-0 last week.
Man in the box.
Yeah, that is right, too. Hit that like button, folks. I see how many people are watching this. Get over there and hit the like button. Folks, I want you to check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, all right? Check that out. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Wherever you listen to podcasts, it's on YouTube. We got all that shit all set up. You got to check it out. Give CJ Sullivan a follow on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _ and Moneyline Mac's work. Obviously, you can find the Ryan and Rush show if you want to dive into some West Virginia. What are you guys talking about right now on the Ryan and Rush show, Mac?
Shit, the transfer portal. There's like goddamn 1,000 names in there already. Well, Kerr Kieritsa from Arizona visited this weekend, so nonstop. And hey, if you want a Ryan and Rush hat, DM me on Twitter. I'll send you a hat.
There we go. At Moneyline _ Mac.
Yeah, I already got you one in the mail, CJ.
Yes, come to the box. Bring it to the box.
Bring it to the box. Also, the NFL Gambling Podcast, as I imagine. What are you doing, like NFL draft prep stuff right now, or free agency, or what?
What we talked about Lamar for a while the other day and Aaron Rodgers. So, but yeah, draft and who's gonna buy the skins?
There we go.
If I had enough money, it'd be me.
Yeah,
and we'd be renamed the Redskins.
People love tossing their hat in a ring like they have $6 billion floating.
Every fucking basketball player's buying the Redskins. Every former basketball player. LeBron's buying it. Jordan's buying it. Magic Johnson's buying it. Brian Davis. I didn't see that one coming. The old Duke two-guard. Brian Davis interested in buying the team. It's fucking incredible. Man, Maybe Olden Polynice will buy the team. Who knows?
Yes.
Folks, also check out the College Football Experience. We just dropped 2 episodes tonight. They'll be out by the time you're listening to this. And also College Baseball Experience. Noah Bina continuing to do good work there as the season goes in full swing. He's also doing little shorts on the Frozen Four.
Yes.
On YouTube, the College Experience, youtube.com/the College Experience. So check that out. Get the SGPN app for free in the App Store and Google Play Store. And come talk college hoops with us. Any sport, really. Literally any sport. Yeah. Me and CJ host the XFL Gambling Podcast. We have a ton of fun over there. Hop in. We've been on fire with picks. CJ's been DFS lineups rolling. Also, I host the USFL Gambling Podcast as that season's about to kick off as well, and they have a real kickoff, so we can dig that. And so I had to, I got
a little dig on the kickoff.
Got to dig on that stuff. But all right, folks, until Thursday, this is the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Yeah, it's got me thinking about the good shit. The minute that I seen your grill again, it made me good trip. Good jog the mind back like dog rewind that. Man, I didn't get mad when you near me hit me can back, but the comings on was strong. Now my shit's coming along, you know the song. The truth is I'm pretty much on fire again. It's heating up for real, I'm alive again. And that's the attraction factor. Vancouver, Michigan with my rap disaster. Yeah, you know you want it how you want it. No need to trip, cause I got it, doggone it. It's all yours and the extras too. All the super music and the sex for hope. Just get it straight, cause it caught me in a good mood. Let me demonstrate what this time of year could do.